Well, good evening. This is Hound Dog Steve coming to you on the 18th of June, which is a Monday evening. And what I'd like to talk about this evening is online censorship in China. And this document details the censorship that's going on in China right now. And it is really very Orwellian. Chinese authorities have tightened their grip on the country's online broadcasting platforms, banning a long list of content, everything from tattoos to religious proselytizing, violations of mainstream values, flirtatious dancing, images of leaders, and Western political critiques, as the government seeks to stamp out any venue that could be used for dissent or behaviour it considers obscene, according to an unpublished censorship directive obtained by this newspaper. It goes on to say the document specifies the types of political discourse that are prohibited, including insulting and defaming current or previous leaders, speculating or discussing government plans irresponsibly, or attacking policies. Any content that does the latter should be eradicated, the document says, and no critique of Chinese political theory by Western standards. The pictures, names of political leaders are strictly forbidden. Any attempt to inspire people to do something or commit certain actions must be blocked, along with information that misinterprets heroes or maliciously attacks Chinese foreign affairs. So the second article, which is along the same lines, Chinese school installs cameras so they can monitor the students, and let's get a little closer there. You can see there that there is a little square around each student's head, and so these are being followed in real time. The cameras installed at Hangzhou No. 11 High School are designed to automatically take attendance and track what students are doing at any moment, including reading, writing, or listening. But they also promise to provide real-time data on students, outward expressions, tracking whether they are looking scared, happy, disgusted, sad, surprised, angry, or neutral. The system has been touted as a way to ensure the students are attentive and happy. Oh yes, they'll be attentive and happy, all right. Using the system installed in March, the school can place students into 6 behaviour categories. Some might be immersed in learning, while some might be distractions. We have a minimum score. If a student's classroom score is lower than that, it means a student is failing to focus during class time, said Vice Principal Zhang Ganqiao in an interview with The Paper, a Chinese state-run online news outlet. The system will then notify the teacher. The first month, Mr. Zhang said, has prompted students to voluntarily change their behaviour and classroom habits, allowing students to attend classes more happily now. Now, isn't that just scary? Talk about behaviour modification at the earliest ages. And so this shows you why it is so important to be aware of what your children are learning in school. Don't just assume that because we are in a Western world, that there isn't a similar kind of brainwashing going on within our own school system. So why should we be concerned about this? Because everything is connected these days. Facebook says it gave data access to a Chinese firm flagged by US intelligence. So Facebook has data sharing partners with at least 4 Chinese electronics companies, including a manufacturing giant that has a close relationship with China's government, the social media company said on Tuesday. The agreements, which date to at least 2010, gave private access to some user data to Huawei, a telecommunications equipment company that has been flagged by US intelligence officials as a national security threat, as well as to Lenovo, Oppo, and TCL. The 4 partnerships remain in effect, but Facebook officials said in an interview that the company would wind down the Huawei deal by the end of the week. Facebook gave access to the Chinese device makers along with other manufacturers, including Amazon, Apple, BlackBerry, and Samsung, whose agreements were disclosed by the New York Times on Sunday. The deals gave Facebook an early foothold in the mobile market starting in 2007, before standalone Facebook apps worked well on phones, and allowed device makers to offer some Facebook features such as address books, like buttons and status updates. So here we go, this is all connected. Facebook is sharing data, it seems, with absolutely anybody and everybody who is prepared to pay for it. And who knows what the Chinese are doing now. If they have the kind of facial recognition capability that they're using in schools, what about all the photographs and profile pictures? Are they storing those in some kind of database? Are they using those facial profiles to search down people, to maybe, who knows what? Espionage is a big deal these days. And of course, if you don't have a picture, a facial profile, here we are. DNA evidence used to create image of child sex attacker. And you can see the face of the man there. That was created by his DNA. And of course, we can see in this situation where this is a very handy thing to be able to do. But again, is that going to stay in the box where it is only used, or what crimes are we going to be pursuing in the future? Who knows? I mean, there was a story recently in Hong Kong where DNA was taken off a cigarette butt that was thrown on the ground to create an image of the person from the DNA. That image was then put on social media, and that person was arrested for littering. So it just depends on, the kind of laws that we want to pursue. And when you add all of this together, and the fears that we have today in Western society of terrorism and hate speech and all that kind of stuff, you can see that they're going to start using this kind of technology to monitor the citizens of North America. And of course, when you live under a regime like that, in China, a circle of online self-censorship. Okay, the rapid tightening of Chinese censorship demands has plunged local internet companies into a high-stakes game of survival, with executives knowing they face closure if they allow the distribution of banned content. The risks of non-compliance are real. Last year, new regulations required live broadcasters to ensure content is beneficial to the promotion of socialist core values. Numerous broadcasters have since been inspected and many shuttered. In April alone, regulators yanked 370 live streaming apps from online stores. To stay out of trouble, companies are pushing self-censorship beyond government demands, using people and sophisticated machine learning devices to scour videos and pictures for offences. And of course, this is what happens. Self-censorship is actually worse than the real censorship, because usually real censorship is worded in such a vague manner that you really don't know what it actually means. And this is what's happening on YouTube. Okay, you get a strike against you, or you get demonetized on a video, and it just says unsuitable for most advertisers. It doesn't tell you what part of the video was unsuitable, what part of the content was unsuitable. Was it the tags that you put on there? Was it the description? You just don't know. And ultimately, you start policing yourself. And that's the scary thing. And of course, because we're also tied into the banking system, work, checks, we don't get checks anymore. Money now is direct deposited into your bank account. We really don't see any of this digital cash. It's so easy to break into your life, shut down your social media account if you are on the hit list. And so the technology that we have is so staggeringly powerful, and it really does come down to the kind of laws that are going to be on the books and that we are going to prosecute. Okay, so we need to keep our finger on the pulse of the rules and laws that are made in our society, especially around digital networks like this and digital technology. And of course, you know, the big lesson here on this side of the world is to be very, very careful about what you post on your Facebook page, the pictures that you put up on your Facebook page. Okay, yes, I have a Facebook page, but what I post are things that I get out of the media, things that have already been published, they're already in the public. I don't have any pictures of my friends. I have one picture of myself for my profile picture, and that is it. Yeah, I very much limit my commenting. I'm always aware that somebody is reading these comments, that someone is monitoring these comments. Okay, so be careful what you say. Keep your emotions in check. And yeah, I've seen some pretty volatile conversations take place, and I'm just shaking my head when these people realize that that stuff is now stuck on your Facebook page and you can't get rid of it. You might think you delete it, but you are not really deleting it. So be careful what you say. Be careful what you say. So this is Hound Dog Steve signing off. I hope you enjoyed this little video, and we will be coming to you with more stories very soon. You take care. Have a great evening. We'll see you now. Bye-bye.